Kulabinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawengabengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, Civic Centre renovation halted after asbestos scare. 14 years in jail for corrupt civil servant. And crushing begins at Labasa Mill.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Renovation has ceased at the Suva Civic Centre due to the danger to workers from asbestos, which can cause a deadly lung infection called asbestosis. Minister for Employment, Productivity and Industrial Relations, Choneo Somate, has confirmed this follows the release of the assessment report from Pacific Environmental Services and Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program.
This is the site where asbestos was found. Signs were clearly seen that the area contains asbestos. Minister for Employment, Choneo Somate, specifically stressed that the asbestos identified in the SPREP report received yesterday contained 30% asbestos from bulk material tested and is not an airborne sample. SEC has been directed and is currently working on sealing off all the building openings and have condoned off the surrounding areas with immediate effect. Minister Somate says enforcement officers of the National OHS Service have been dealing with the issue since the start of the renovation, and the SEC, as the owner of the building, has been issued a directive for all workers and contractors to vacate the site immediately. The minister is advising the public to refrain from travelling through Town Hall Road or near the Suva Civic Centre. Meanwhile, pot plant sellers nearby were informed this morning to vacate the area.
I was told whether I was aware of what happened this morning, and I said no. So they advised us to vacate this place because of the seriousness of that.
We want to move out as quickly as possible because it's very in danger for our health. And so we're telling all the women now to make necessary arrangements to go and arrange for their transportation and move out as quickly as possible.
SEC has also been directed to hire a consultant to immediately undertake air sampling inside the building and areas close to the Suva Civic Centre. This is to ensure that the surroundings do not contain any hazardous material in the air. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
A former senior civil servant from the Office of the Official Receiver was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment by the Suva Magistrates Court this afternoon. Viliame Katia stole more than $4 million from the bankruptcy account over a period of 8 years. Shireen Shivan reports.
Viliame Katia was convicted of 3 counts of abuse of office for gain, 4 counts of forgery, 1 count of embezzlement by servant, 1 count of false information to public servant, 1 count of unauthorized modification of data, and 1 count of obtaining financial advantage. Katia abused the authority of his office by making payments to himself between 2008 and 2016, amounting to a little over $4 million. He created false emails and internal memos stating creditors were willing to accept reduced payments from their bankrupt debtors. These payments were then sent from the official receiver's bankruptcy account to his own. While sentencing Katia, resident magistrate Shagit Somaratne said none of the court in Fiji has ever come across such magnitude of corruption. Katia is eligible to apply for parole after serving 12 years in prison. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Crushing has begun at the Labasa sugar mill and there are projections for high sugar production this year. Eleanor Tarangai View reports growers have been told to work together for a successful crushing season.
It's all systems go today, an indication of the start of crushing at the Labasa sugar mill.
We've had a couple of trials leading to yesterday, and yesterday was what we call a live trial, where we actually get about 700 tons of cane, all in the effort to make sure that the startup and the season is going on well.
The tipping of the first load of cane today by the Attorney General, the Tui Madhuata and the Fiji Sugar Corporation CEO kick-started the crushing, the cane coming in loads by rail and truck.
The mill workers need to see themselves as people who are actually facilitators. They need to ensure the mill does not break down. They need to ensure that if there is going to be a pending breakdown, you bring it to the attention of your supervisors. Because if all of you work together and all of you ensure that the mill will function, you're not going to have long queues outside here.
Last year, the Labasa sugar mill crushed over 600,000 tons of cane and produced about 72,000 tons of sugar. The only problem it faced was the lack of cane supply, which was mainly due to the shortage of labor in the cane fields.
Some growers are still facing labor problems. Cutters are not readily available, but with the assistance given by the government to purchase more mechanical harvesters, there are a number of mechanical harvesters that are coming into the country this year. We are very encouraged.
FSC CEO Graham Clark told the Labasa mill staff today that the 2017 crushing season will only be successful if they work together with cane farmers.
We've got a big job to do in order to cement the relationship and the partnership with our growers, our farmers. We want to be seen to be one team, one sugar team in Fiji.
The Fiji Sugar Corporation expects to crush around 800,000 tons of cane at a ratio of 8.5. This means they expect to produce over 94,000 tons of sugar. Eleanor Turangiviu, FBC News.
Labasa cane farmers have been told that they cannot expect an increased price if cane and sugar production are low. Fiji Sugar Corporation Chief Executive Graham Clark also made it clear that the new FSC will work very closely with growers to revitalize the industry. Eleanor Turangiviu again with the story.
The new Chief Executive Officer of the Fiji Sugar Corporation for the first time met with cane growers in Labasa last night to explain to them FSC's new strategy. Chief amongst the issues is addressing the demand for an increase in cane price.
People are forgetting. Prosperity doesn't come from getting more money. Prosperity will come from farming better, lowering your costs, producing more cane. Because if you can do that, more sugar will be made. If more sugar can be made, there's more money to come back to you, the farmers.
Graham Clark has over 30 years of experience in the sugar industry, and for someone who has only recently taken over the reins of the FSC, he has set his focus to firstly addressing the root problems in the sugar industry.
So we start in the farm. We need to address why is the cane area declining? Why are the number of farmers declining? Why are the cane yields declining? And I think it's very simple. It boils down to one thing. People are losing confidence in cane farming.
He told cane growers last night the new FSC will invest in helping them reduce the cost of farming, one of which is to restore the railway system.
You're blessed with one of the best infrastructures for rail delivery in the world of sugar. But what have we done? We've neglected it. So it's gone down. Machinery is broken. The railway lines are broken. 760 kilometers of railway line, 80% of our cane used to be delivered on rail. Now less than 20%. There's something very wrong.
Clark says the changes that the new FSC is bringing into the sugar industry will not happen overnight. It will take at least 3 years before changes can be seen. Eleanor Turangiviu, FBC News.
The Sugar Ministry has been directed to effectively monitor the utilization of its capital budget. This after the ministry could not provide assurances before the Public Accounts Committee yesterday that the $8.4 million allocated for the cane development program was used for its authorized purpose. Ropate Valeme has more.
The Sugar Ministry appeared before the Public Accounts Committee yesterday to clarify the loopholes for its audited report for the financial year 2014 and 2015. The ministry was asked to explain how the funds allocated to the Fiji Sugar Corporation for its cane development program in 2014 was used.
Partnership thing. We expect FSC to do their bit. We will do our bit. And in terms of the number of staff we have, we just cannot afford to go beyond what they, unless and until after they provided the annual audited reports at the end of financial year, which is the 31st May.
Public Accounts Committee member Aseri Rondrondo says the utilizations of government grants should not be overlooked by the ministry.
cannot continue to throw the money and let them spend it as they wish.
The Auditor General has recommended that the ministry should improve on its capital expenditure planning to ensure that the funds are utilized for its intended purpose. Ronrondo says this can only be achieved if it is properly monitored. Ropate Valeme, FBC News.
Still to come, Rotuma Council Chair faces corruption charges. And FEO begins recruitment for election officials. Details after the break.
Nimbula binaka na yalangunga andi moala ranalika o tikongon na tao ni singatoka ando talitaka na bakaronga ng Bula FM nambandua na sere.
Ya dora subuli kurna bili. Iborani batukara hambara binanga. Do talitakinan na bakaronga ng Bula FM nambandua na sere. Bula.
Bula FM nambandua na sere.
The people of Vanuatu now no longer have to travel to Suva or wait 10 days to get their passports. The immigration office in Labasa is now printing the passport books. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
The first 7 passports printed at the Labasa immigration office was issued out today. 49-year-old Vinod Kumar is amongst the recipients this afternoon.
You have to go to Vitilevu, then go there and take all your things and then passport there. You get about 2-3 weeks. Cost money, eh? Yeah, easy.
The printing of passport books here in Labasa means applicants will receive the same services provided in Suva. They can now receive their passports after 5 working days.
I think this is one of huge developments realized in the north. Now that people from the north usually go to Suva spending hundreds of dollars, you know, building, staying with families in pursuit of a passport. But now that problem is over, people just have to get on the bus, and people in families from Boa and Lakonrove just get on the bus, come here, you can get your passport in Labasa.
Attorney General Ayaz Zaid Kayum says bringing this service to Labasa is part of the decentralization of the immigration department.
The entire objective of that is to ensure that the ordinary Fijians, people do not actually have to travel long distances to be able to access those services. That people are not put through a lot of time and pressure to be able to access those services. And again, of course, it becomes very costly too.
The immigration office in Nandi will also feature the same service from next week. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Rotuma Council Chair Tatarani Ringamoto appeared before the Suva Magistrates Court this afternoon. Ringamoto, together with Senimeli Tivao and Penamino Tavo, are charged with corruption-related charges. Shireen Shivan reports.
Tatarani Ringamoto is charged with 1 count of abuse of office and 1 count of giving false information derived from false documents. It's alleged while being employed in the public service as the chairman of the Council of Rotuma, he allegedly committed an arbitrary act for the purpose of gain. It is alleged Ringamoto invested $250,000 with Fijian Holdings Unit Trust without the approval of the council. He later gave false information derived from false documents. Senimeli Tivao is facing 1 charge of aiding and abetting. She allegedly gave false information to the Merchant Finance Limited that the council had unanimously agreed to support Ramcol for financial assistance and to be the guarantor of Ramcol loan. The third accused, Penamino Tavo, is facing 1 charge of giving false information and is alleged to have given information to the Rotuma Council in its 4th quarterly meeting that Ramcol has production earnings in the sum of $33,000, which he knew to be false or misleading. All accused produced 2 sureties in court and were granted bail. They have been ordered to surrender all travelling documents and report to the Rotuma police station once every fortnight. The matter has been adjourned to June 2nd. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
A 30-year-old man charged with 2 counts of causing actual bodily harm appeared at the Suva Magistrates Court this afternoon. Ilaitia Mainambao is alleged to have assaulted 2 women last week during Fiji Fashion Week at the Vodafone Arena in Suva. Mainambao presented 2 sureties in court and was granted bail. The court ordered him to surrender his travel documents and report to the Totonga police station on the first Saturday of every month. The matter has been adjourned to July 13th for him to take his plea. 100 suitably qualified and skilled persons will be shortlisted to train at least 12,000 election officials to be out in the field during the 2018 general elections. Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says, similar to the last election, the FEO will directly train the officials around the country in more than 900 training sessions.
For the 2018 general election, we intend to have most of our trainings for election officials on weekends. Positions will be advantageous for those who may have training of trainers qualifications or teacher training certificates, workplace trainers or equivalent skills and qualifications.
Bollywood star Liana De Cruz's visit to Fiji will help boost visitor arrivals from India. De Cruz will over the next few days visit the Sawailau caves, try out ziplining and visit villages to experience the unique Fijian culture and warm hospitality. Tourism Fiji and Fiji Airways is hosting De Cruz and her crew for a travelogue. Videos and images will air on Times Now channel.
I think more than anything, there's lots of beautiful places all around the world. But the beautiful thing about Fiji is not only is it beautiful to look at, the people is definitely what makes it that much more lovely and beautiful and memorable, more like it, and special.
Ahead in sports, Jamie will tell us about a young footballer achieving his dreams, but joining us next is Rachel with business.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. New cafe opens in capital city. And in growing Fiji, new Anglican teaching center opens for wider community. But before we go to a break, it's a very special day for a very special lady in the studio tonight. It's Jackie's birthday. And as she turns a year younger today, we're just trying to make sure she doesn't forget her birthday next year. Happy birthday, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you.
I'm another sort of of Nayabu Televu. Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Tano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. It's the newest cafe in the city with a touch of the sentimental. Moments opened its doors today in the heart of Suva City. Maggie Boyle popped in for a detox and filed this report.
It's a lush setting downtown where many a moment could be spent in the comforts of almost familiar surroundings.
We thought on times of events and sports, and so we thought that would be a good concept to have these memories of times and events.
Years of experience in the food business, Fidelis Arsam is no stranger to what menu would be a sellout.
It's cozy and we serve healthy. We try and focus more on health, food and drinks and detox.
A labour of love in honour of her sister passed on. The ambience here more than welcomed.
It's very affordable and it's right in the middle of Suva. It's also key that you have a nice comfy place, and it almost feels like America. You know, a place to go away from just all the work and just to relax and have a nice brew awakening.
It's the newest eatery in town and it's got a little something for everyone, even those who are quite health conscious. And it also feels like you're at home in the lounge room. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The global economy remains highly active and it's all affecting the Fijian dollar. With more on this, here's Elizabeth from HFC Bank.
Vinaka, the S&P 500 index inched lower on a down day for global equities. Banks fared poorly as JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America warned that second quarter trading revenues are in pace for a double-digit drop. Meanwhile, Japan's Nikkei stock average 225 advanced 0.8% after data showing recurring first quarter corporate profits were the highest on record for the January to March period. An increase in capital expenditure in the first quarter also adds to a number of recent data pointing to economic expansion. For all these reasons, we have been witnessing the Fijian dollar weaken against the Japanese yen from Monday up until today. And that is today's update. Rachel?
Thanks for the update. Looking at today's exchange rates, the Fijian dollar strengthened against the Chinese yuan and the American dollar, closing at 3.20 and 47 cents respectively. As for regional currencies, the Australian dollar rose, closing at 63 cents, while the New Zealand dollar and PNG kina weakened, closing at 65 cents and 131. On to the commodities market. Oil prices continues its downwards trend, closing at $48.82 a barrel. Gold rose to close at $1,268 an ounce, and silver dropped, closing at $17.33 an ounce. In Growing Fiji tonight, a new Moana Anglican Service and Teaching Centre has been opened by the Prime Minister of Varanga Bainimarama in the heart of Suva. The centre, known as MAST, will be in the hub of the works of the Anglican Church in the Pacific. Akasita Tale reports.
MAST will bring together administration, social services and teaching, a move that is part of the diocesan strategic plan to encourage everyone to work together.
I'm told that this center's facilities will be open as a venue to use for conferences or educational purposes for other groups and religious organizations. So this center will become a true fixture of this community, open to all Fijians of all backgrounds.
The Anglican community was also acknowledged today for their support in the aftermath of TC Winston last year.
I was very glad to see your community rally support from Anglicans around the world to come to the aid of those who were suffering from the devastation. And I know I speak for every Fijian when I thank you all for that effort.
This has been welcomed by the public.
I think it's a good idea, and like all the religions will be getting together so they can work in peace.
It is a multicultural country and this with a different religion, and this is a good concept that the Anglican Church has come up with.
The Anglican Church has come up with a good move by introducing this to have various religions use this centre, especially since Fiji's a multi-ethnic country.
The centre is located at Devon Road and will serve the wider community to be opened as a venue for conferences and teaching purposes to other communities of faith. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
And that's business this evening. Jamie joins you now with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. Coming up, Rokondunguni rates flying Fijians highly. And 17-year-old confident of making it into national squad to play New Caledonia. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्क्रीन तक ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
Flying Fijian veteran Sunia Koto is ready for his 51st test match when they take on Australia in Melbourne next Saturday. Koto, who has the longest career in 15s rugby for Fiji, serving in 3 World Cups, expects a tough match against the Wallabies, but believes his team is capable of causing an upset. Meli Tavanga reports.
The 37-year-old is doing the harder training to maintain his physical condition.
I need to do well in the team to provide good balls and in the scrums, in the lineouts, and contribute during general play.
Despite the Australian teams not performing well in Super Rugby, Koto says they will try and start with a win for Fiji.
Be a big occasion for them. They're currently going through a difficult moment. They'll be really motivated to play against Fiji. So we're expecting a big match.
Montpellier wing Timothy Ngusa, who joins camp today, says competition among the players are healthy as they're building up towards game day.
It's a step up to try and get a call up to play on the starting 15. We're confident in what we're doing now and building into next week.
The Flying Fijians are now building their combat plan for their battle with the Wallabies next Saturday. Melitawanga, FBC Sports.
Fiji-born England rugby winger Semesa Rokundunguni is in the country on holiday. In an interview with FBC Sports journalist Vasnil Prasad, Rokundunguni spoke about his experience playing against the Flying Fijians for the first time and also left a message for the national team preparing for the June test against Australia.
A familiar face back home watching his favorite sport as he remembered the match against Fiji during November tour last year.
I'm not gonna lie, it's quite frightening. I was nervous going out there. Not just because I'm playing against Fiji, it's because of the boys out there. I've known a couple of boys, Nicola Matualu, Nadolo Nakarao, both big names out there.
Navo football rep Manav Permal is confident his efforts at training will earn him a spot in the Vodafone Fiji team to take on New Caledonia next Wednesday. The 17-year-old is the youngest player in the national squad. Meli Tavanga has more.
The youngster marched into camp with high hopes to make the final cut.
I'm very confident that I'll make it to the final 23-member squad because I'm giving my 100% during training, and I know it's tough, but I'll make it to the...
The Year 15 student of Vashist Muni College says being part of the camp comes with challenges.
This is the first time for me to be in the national team camp, and I made my debut last week. Tough during training session because they all hard, they play tough, and it's a great opportunity for learning.
Coach Christoph Gomel says Permal has the potential but needs to prove himself.
Become talented player, but he need to be fixed mentally and also to learn how to, this kind of player derive, the new generation.
The Mbula boys are adapting well by the new game structure set by coach Christoph Gomel. Unfortunately, not all of them will make it to the final 23-member squad to take on New Caledonia. Melitabanga, FBC Sports.
Fiji football's under-19 women's side will play 5 tough pool matches in the OFC Championship in New Zealand next month. Fiji takes on Tonga in its first pool match before playing New Zealand, Samoa, Papua New Guinea and New Caledonia. The Under-19 OFC Women's Championship starts on the 1st of July. The Rugby League, while it may have taken more than a decade, we may just have finally seen a changing of the guard in the state of origin. After losing 11 of the past 12 series, the New South Wales played an excellent game last night in Brisbane, punishing the Maroons 28-4 to take a 1-0 series lead. Today's play of the day comes from Major League Baseball. Well, it's not actually Major League action, but a major brawl that ended with fines and multi-game suspensions. That's it from sports this evening. Angie joins you later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful, probably the weirdest thing you'll see this year, or the most wonderful, depends on how you want to look at it. But a Tai Chi master has broken the world record for pulling a helicopter with his penis. Jackie will try to keep a straight face and tell you all about it after the break.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo tikola untuk talita na Radio Fiji 1 kena Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya sila tale, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang dito Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, a Norwegian startup is developing a digital paper tablet it hopes will appeal to paper people. The device, called Remarkable, can be written on using a stylus and is textured to feel like real paper. And Angie joins us now with the very latest in weather.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It was a clear, cool start to the day with lots of sunshine, and it is going to be dry, which means no rain, and the humidity level will also be low. Looking at today in the west, it was mostly dry for those that just went around visiting families or traveled down to the west. I guess the day was pretty awesome to do that. Eastwards, from Back Harbour to Suva, the skies were pretty clear, and if you took photos, I know it turned out really well. And up in Vanwalevu, it was mostly humid with clouds scattering around. At sea, east to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And for the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 12:54 with a low tide at 7. Sunrise will be at 6:31. For tomorrow, you guessed it right, it's a semi-start to the weekend and conditions will be a bit rainy, but that shouldn't dull our spirits. Tomorrow's temps, Nandi, Lautoka and Labasa will be warm with highs of 30 degrees. And looking ahead to Saturday, it's not looking good as we're expecting some showers, probably heavier at times. And it's back to the birthday girl.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fiji and Pulse today, we asked, should more Bollywood and Hollywood movies be shot in Fiji?
I think so, because it's bring more employment to our community.
Yes, I think so, because it will create employment opportunities and increase the tourism in the tourism industry.
Yes, I think so. More movies shot in the Fiji, Bollywood or Hollywood.
There should be a lot of movies done in Fiji because it's a beautiful place. It's paradise in the Pacific.
I think it's good because it can provide job opportunities for the locals.
Oh yes, I think it should be shot here in Fiji because it provides a better economic growth here in Fiji especially.
Now, in the world of the weird and the wonderful, a Chinese kung fu master has succeeded in dragging a helicopter more than 10 meters using only the power of his penis, managing to break a world record but not his penis in the process. Recapping the main stories, Civic Centre renovation halted after asbestos scare, 14 years in jail for corrupt civil servant, and crushing begins at Labasa mill. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, are certain politicians taking advantage of sugarcane farmers for their own gain? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day was sent in by Tourism Fiji. Bollywood actress Ileana de Cruz witnessing her first Fijian sunset while cruising the Nandi Bay on Monday. De Cruz, who's in Fiji for the second time, is part of a travelogue for the Times of India. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News, or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, good night.
हमारा नाम संत कुमार है, हम रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनता है और ताबुआ में सबसे बेहाल रेडियो फीजी 2 है यार।
हम बिना विमलेश रकविंदी ताबुआ से रेडियो फीजी 2 हमारा सबसे फेवरेट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम ब्रूस राव है, रेकेरेकी मार्केट वेंडा और रेडियो फीजी 2 देश के धड़कन 1954 से हम सुनता है।
हम कबूली ताबुआ रहता है, हमारा नाम है रमेश चंद और हमारी मछली के धंधा है और हम सब टाइम रेडियो फीजी 2 सुनता है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।